This might be the most stupid YouTube video I've ever seen. And I had a little watch of it, but I want to kind of show you guys in real time everything that's wrong with this video, and I really am shocked that it's got so many views because it looks so incredibly low effort and it's just completely wrong about the whole idea of freeboard. So let's get it loaded.
This is a freeboard.
Oh, do I not know that one all too well?
It's a skateboard with these trolley wheels built in here.
So yeah, it does have some sort of wheels at the bottom, which are a lot like trolley wheels. This is a Freeboard 5, and this guy Sam Pilgrim in the video is using an older version of the board, what looks like maybe a G3 or a G3R. They're not too different. The Freeboard 5 is the newer version, but as you can see, yeah, it does have something that resembles trolley wheels. It's also got these hooks at the top, which you kind of need in order to hold your weight on each edge. And it has these edge wheels, which you use to basically slide and to control your speed. So we're gonna continue with this video because this first 1 minute might be the worst representation of freeboard, like genuinely that I've ever seen, which is quite surprising because I've watched a lot of freeboard videos. I think I might have watched basically all of the freeboard videos that are on YouTube.
Simulate snowboarding on concrete.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's true, so it does simulate snowboarding on concrete. So I actually never had snowboarded before, and when I first picked up freeboarding, so in the first year, I was what's called the rookie of the year, so I did a lot of freeboarding because I was really into it, and I really kind of set off on this goal to see whether it would teach me to snowboard if I really went all in on freeboard for a year and then went snowboarding. And yeah, this I guess is evidence that I did put a lot of time in, but what I want to say with that is that I then went snowboarding with a bunch of freeboarders, and it was the most mind-blowing experience maybe of any kind of sport that I've ever done. When I got onto the snowboard, I mean, it really did just feel like freeboarding to some extent. There were some differences, obviously. I mean, you can't expect it to be exactly the same thing because you're on snow, you're not on road. But I remember it just being like a revelation. It was amazing. So what he says here, where it's meant to simulate snowboarding, I think it does a really good job. I can show you, here is a video of me snowboarding. I haven't ridden more than a week, so it's like less than 7 days of actual snowboarding, and you can ride it like this. Sure, your technique is going to be a little bit off compared to someone who snowboards, like someone who just snowboards. You're not going to have the same snowboarder technique. You'll be riding the snowboard a bit like a freeboarder, but you can get to a really good level on the snowboard actually just from freeboarding. The only difference is you need to learn how to put on the boots. The snowboard, I believe, is like slightly more front foot heavy. The freeboard's very back foot heavy. Some details, but we're going to continue with this video. So
in the right position, the board's able to move sideways, forwards,
true.
Whatever way you want.
Yeah, that's true.
The theory, anyway.
The theory,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, it seems sketchy. Well, I'm scared for it.
Okay, yeah, that's the idea, and it's true. If you know how to freeboard, all of those things are true. You can spin, you can control your speed, you can control whichever direction you're going in, like with an incredible degree of precision. Like there's no shadow of a doubt of like having control of where exactly you're going. It's like your motion vector is so incredibly in control with these boards. Angular momentum vector is also basically in complete control. So you can spin to whichever kind of way you like, and you can also spin while having like your direction of actual motion, so your velocity vector, I suppose, in whichever direction you like. So I'm sorry to go into like physics detail, but basically the freeboard gives you complete control of where you're going, how fast you're going, where you're spinning, and how fast you're spinning, basically at any given point if you've got enough practice. Because this guy is, I think, like a mountain biker, and he's done a lot of sports, so I was actually quite excited when I saw this video because I thought, you know, an athlete, he's going to actually like be able to get to a good level with not that much time on the board, and hopefully he can actually say something quite interesting about it, not just, well, yeah, we'll see. Ooh. So there we are, he locks into his heel set, he's going to put a tiny bit of weight onto the center wheels, and you'll see that his board will kick out a little bit. What he's doing here, so we're at 39 seconds in, is pretty nice. Like, as a beginner, what he's doing is actually really good, even if he might feel uncomfortable, which...
That is so dangerous.
That is so I mean, not really. Is it really dangerous? I mean, what were you doing? Let's go back. I mean, you're going so slowly. It's not dangerous. What are you... Oh! That is so dangerous. Dude, he's not even doing anything marginally dangerous. I mean, look how fast he's going. He's not going fast at all. That's... I mean, cut. Okay, the freeboard is dangerous because when you're going fairly fast, even like 3 or 4 times that speed, you know, if you catch the edge, what you'll find is your body will just slam down. So if you've got any experience snowboarding catching the edge, you can imagine that catching the edge on concrete's quite painful. The main difference really is that when you land, you're not like on snow, so your hands and stuff don't kind of just slide. You still get the impact on a snowboard. So you can hurt yourself catching the edge on a snowboard. On the freeboard, like a lot of snowboarders will say, I would never want to catch the edge on concrete. That's true, but I would say it's not as much worse as you might expect. But what this guy's doing right now is not dangerous. I'm sorry. Like, you could have your mate like hold holding your hand as you do this. He's really not going fast. Whoa! 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 What are you doing, man? Like, if he caught the edge, he would just jump out at that speed. The dangerous part is when you catch the edge and you're going so fast that the impact happens so fast that you can't actually process that it happened. So, like, I've had experiences where I'm doing a spin or something, I catch my heel side, and before I even realise that I've caught the heel side, I'm slammed on the floor. That's what's dangerous about it. When you don't have the time to react of what's happened, if you can feel that you're about to catch the edge and you're not going really fast, you can just jump out. Like, it's really not very difficult to do that. Those things are dangerous. What this guy is doing isn't dangerous. Let's be fully clear about that. Anyway, we'll continue because what I will say, like, we're about 40 seconds in, the main interesting part of the video, I would say, is the first minute. You see, this video is 13 minutes long, and you can hazard a guess of how long he actually tests the freeboard for. So the video is called The Most Dangerous Skateboard Ever Made, Freeboard. So you'd think, you know, oh, he's surely going to be testing the freeboard the whole video. I mean, that seems reasonable. It's a freeboard video. No, 13 minutes, and he tests it for 1 minute. 1 minute. That's like less, I mean, I'm not going to do the math, but, you know, 1 over 13, I don't know, 7%, something like that. I don't want to look like I don't know the maths. 1 over 13, 7.7%. Okay, so I maybe should have said 8%. But anyway, okay, so this one I think is quite interesting because he's doing some nice center wheeling where he's talking about leaning on the edges, and he's about to lock on to his heel side edge. Now, let me just, before we see the consequences of what he's doing, just look at how his knees are. Fully straightened out, like there's no leeway here. And you can actually see his whole weight is on his heel side. Like his center of mass is way over his heel side. This is terrible freeboard technique. You know, if I saw someone do this, I would be straight away trying to say, don't do this. So it's not surprising that he's locked onto the heel side edge. What I am gonna say is that he's about to complain about like not being able to control going left or right on a freeboard. But of course you can't control going left or right on a freeboard if you ride it like this. Like that's,
Whoa.
whoa.
It says online you tighten the trucks up
Here we are.
to make the sliding safer, but then that means you can't turn as easily.
Okay, I mean, so what this guy is missing is that when you're actually trying to turn on a freeboard, a lot of the time you're not actually trying to turn by putting your weight on one side like a normal skateboard. Like you could lean and the board will kind of turn, lean forward, it would turn one other way. With the freeboard, it's a lot about instigating being on the center wheels, because when you're on the center wheels, the board will spin. You see, it spins. And so if you're kind of balanced like this on the ground and these wheels aren't touching, the board can actually turn wherever you like. So you can actually redirect where you're going. So what this guy says is completely wrong. I love how he keeps doing these. Oh, so manly.
You can't turn as easily.
You can't turn. It's true. It's true. If you have your trucks like dialed up to max tightness, then it is actually a bit harder to turn. That's true. A lot of riders like to have them very loose. It's a fine line. Like I've ridden with a guy called Rems, who's like a great rider in France. He told me that he has his trucks as loose as possible. Obviously, you don't want it so loose that the bolt is loose, but having them really loose is actually quite nice. I have them, let's see, I don't actually really think about it that much because I'm not sure if it's crazy important. They're not that loose, I would say, my ones. It's not as much of a factor as this guy is making out, because if you have tight trucks, you can still turn by realigning on the centers, like we said. And if you have loose trucks, then it just means that if you want, you can kind of control going left and right, like by holding your edges. I don't know if any of you have seen Quentin riding. He does it quite a lot. I'll try and see if I've got any videos of him doing it.
Sliding safer, but then it means you can't turn as easily.
Look, he's doing some good stuff. He's like literally almost doing a 180. That's like really quite impressive. You know, the methods in which you can actually teach someone to freeboard are much better than what this guy's doing. So, you know, you could learn it a lot quicker, but you know, understandably it is difficult to learn the sport. If you just look at what he's doing, his arms are like this. His knees are looking a little bit better, but they're still pretty extended. And you can just see, you know, his lower back is sticking out behind the board. Again, his whole weight is way on the heel side. So he's not going to be able to kind of initiate to go into toe side from here, because he'd have to move his center of mass way over back to the middle of the board in order to actually be on the center wheels. It just wouldn't work. You don't really want to be in a stance like this, because this is too much to one side. With the freeboard, you want to be kind of, ideally actually, you want to be very close to the center wheels. If you're going faster and you're doing a spin, I guess you've got more leeway to be a bit bit more heavy on one edge because you don't want to catch the other edge because you're going so fast. But the more you do that, the more you'll slow down when you spin and drift and stuff like that. But anyway, let's see. He does a 180, that's really nice.
Sucks is literally the worst thing I've ever been on, but
what?
Sucks is literally the worst thing I've ever been on, but...
Wow, that's so sad. It's just so disappointing to see someone not actually give it the benefit of the doubt, like to really not try it for very long. Like maybe he tried it for an hour, half an hour, and then to say something as drastic as that sucks is literally the worst thing I've ever been on, because I can tell you that if you know how to ride the freeboard, it's so awesome. It doesn't matter where it is. You might live in the mountains, you might live in a city like me. You can literally just find a hill and you can effectively snowboard down it. It's so cool. And to see someone make 1 minute, like we're 1 minute and 5 seconds into this 13-minute video, okay, 12 minutes and 54-second video, and he's already come to the conclusion that it's the worst thing he's ever been on. Well, let's see what he does.
What if we take the wheels off and then it's just some sort of cool skateboard you can do
some sort of cool skateboard you can do ollies on. Oh man, like it's so, I just think it's so disappointing because that's so lame. Can you imagine that, what he's about to do? He's just going to have a skateboard with two, it's going to be like some ugly longboard with bindings so that you can do ollies on it. That's what he's saying. And he wants to replace all of the potential of the freeboard with this. The potential being basically taking a downhill spot and doing like awesome drifts, spins, tricks all the way down. It just looks so sick. I'm sorry, but going down these really beautiful roads, like the smoothest roads through the city, it is like being on a roller coaster that you're in control of and that you can just, I'm sorry, it's so much fun. It's exhilarating and obviously it's dangerous, I get that. But what this guy's about to do defeats the whole point of the freeboard. I just think that if you're someone who's making videos for people, like this guy is, testing lots of different things, and clearly he's quite athletic, I think it's quite dishonest to try something for 1 minute and then give such a polarizing opinion on it. And something that I find particularly annoying is that he tries it for whatever, half an hour to an hour, and then they start doing this. So you see he starts to hammer off the center wheels, and this part is quite subtle because you see he starts to hammer off the center wheels and very quickly it changes shot to this. He's now disassembled the base plate off the freeboard. Now if he's got a power drill, which it doesn't look like because he's got a screwdriver here, like a Phillips screwdriver, so he's done this by hand, and I'll tell you what, dismounting a freeboard takes ages and it's really annoying to do. So this guy has actually spent time, presumably without a power drill, it's like maybe 15 minutes, and he's now hammering the caster mechanism from the inside. And what I want to clarify next is that this didn't even work, because again, a very subtle point that you see in the video,
so he's
here, but listen to what he says.
Managed to get them off with a big angle grinder.
With a big angle grinder. This guy has spent time dismantling it with a screwdriver, 10 minutes. He's then tried to hammer it in with this pick or whatever, and then he tries with an angle grinder. So I'm sorry, but he's put more time into destroying the freeboard than he has actually trying the freeboard. What insight is this guy gonna give to actually someone who's interested in the freeboard? Maybe maybe his viewers have said, oh, can you try the freeboard because you're trying all of these different things and you seem quite good at it. It'd be cool to see how good you can get at a freeboard. But no, instead of trying it for a week, like there's a French YouTuber called Tristan who tried it for a week and he got pretty good. He went down a mountain, did some slides, but this guy's trying it for like an hour. He's trying it for an hour. And it just makes me think of the meme from The Godfather, you know, how they massacred my boy. You know, I really rate Freeboard. I've done it for 2 years and a half at this point. It's amazing. I do it in my free time. And whether or not I keep making freeboard videos on the channel, it doesn't matter. I'm always gonna freeboard sometimes because it's so fun. You know, when the road's dry and I've got an hour free, I could just grab a board and basically snowboard down a local road. It's awesome. So much fun. And this guy is showing, look, it's just dishonest. It's not even true what he's saying. That's the thing that's the most frustrating, is that people spend so much time, like Quentin, who makes loads of freeboard videos because he really believes in it. You know, they spend so much time trying to make it more accessible to people because it's so much fun. Obviously they want to sell boards, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. They host events around the world where you can like be introduced to freeboard. Even if you don't have a freeboard, you can go to these events and people will literally let you try the board. They'll probably even lend you a board. Like, that's the spirit that Freeboard is. And this guy is just, it's the epitome of a wrong take, in my opinion. It doesn't get more wrong than this. I showed my housemate who doesn't freeboard. Like, he just got up and he had his coffee and came in and I was like, I'll make this video reacting to this terrible video that's just come out. And I showed him how this guy's removed the center wheels, basically what we've got here on screen. And he said, well, doesn't that just defeat the point of the freeboard and make it into a shit long board? Yeah. That's exactly what it does. It makes it into a crap longboard. The hanger's way too big, it looks goofy, it's got bindings so you look pathetic because you don't actually know how to ollie. There's no reason why someone would ride this. Sam Pilgrim lifestyle, really disappointing. Like really bad take what he's saying here. He's suggesting that this is cooler. Let's go back and I'll show you what he says.
Worst thing I've ever been on, but what if we take the wheels off and then it's just some sort of cool skateboard you can do ollies on?
It's genuinely so painful to watch. I don't know. This guy, I think, has done the coward's way out. You know, he didn't put any risk in. He didn't say, okay, I'm going to try it and risk getting hurt to see what it really is, this board. 1 hour is nothing. You're not going to give any insight to your viewers of what the thing really is, and your opinion's going to be generic. Let's let him say, let's let him say.
So now it's a normal board.
Now it's a normal board.
But look, now you can actually just skate it.
I have to say, I really do think it's pathetic. He's not actually committed to trying it. He's basically just destroyed it so that it's a board that he can actually ride, so that he can look cool in the video. But I don't really think that's cool because he hasn't actually tried the thing that he's showing that he tries. You know, he's making a freeboard video, surely you would try the freeboard.
That makes it so sick that you can push.
No, it's not sick, dude. He doesn't. I don't even think he believes what he's saying. If it was so sick like that, he'd be making more videos on this version of the board, wouldn't he? You know, he'd be, oh, this is amazing. You know, I've got to tell people about how cool it is. He doesn't actually think it. He's just trying to really bad.
It's so sick that you can push straight up and over this curb then. Oh, that's so cool. It's like mountain boarding, isn't it?
You could have done all of that stuff on the freeboard, and you could have like interspersed little other tricks at the same time, like some spins. Like maybe it is fun. Okay, maybe I'm just being a downer and calling it lame. I think it's lame because he's destroyed something that would have been really cool. Like if you'd just taken a dragon board and done stuff like this, or like a board that was meant to do that, you know, it already exists, a board for skateboarders who don't want to actually learn to ollie. It seems like this guy is more interested in looking good at something than actually learning something, in coming across as though he's got skill, than he is in actually trying the thing itself and getting good at it. But there's no way he would have been able to make a video on that. So that's why he destroys the freeboard and does something that he could do. Instead of thinking, okay, I want to make something of good quality, I'll learn it for a month and do something cool at the skate park with the freeboard, he just destroys it after, you know, half an hour of actually trying it. And here we are, we've basically watched the whole video. It doesn't actually change. I would say I just really don't rate the approach that he's taken to actually trying something new. I really don't think that that's a good mentality to have if you're trying to learn something, you know. And this channel, we've tried to learn lots of things. Imagine if I had taken a football, tried kick-ups for 1 hour and was unable to do it, and I said, this is the worst sport that I've ever done in my life. I'm going to change it to something that's completely different that I do know how to do. That's what it feels like he's done, and I really just don't rate him. It's so frustrating. Let me know what you guys think on this one. I think I've said enough.